Welcome back to Wizard's Workshop. My name is Stacy Rowland. In part 2 of the 8 dimensions of consciousness, we're going to talk about the second dimension. Go figure. In the first dimension, remember we have safe and unsafe as our priorities. Generally, we move forward towards what's safe and away from what isn't safe. These programs are wired in us in infancy. They're more difficult to adjust, just more difficult, not impossible. I might suggest shamanism. Find a shaman, have them find any traumatized parts of your spirit, and have them retrieve them and bring them back to create wholeness in your spirit being. Consciousness will change because you're whole again and can then move into higher states. In the second dimension, we're now talking about height, and we end up with hierarchy. We end up with pack mentality. We end up with social interaction. We like things more than other things. We have judgment and discernment. There are value systems that we have with objects. One thing could have more value than another. We end up interacting with people in ways that aren't linguistic necessarily. If someone doesn't speak your language and has an object that you would like, and you have an object they would like, and they value your object and you value their object, you don't need to know what the words are. You can exchange. You have the reciprocal value system. In a pack, our value system becomes dominated by what we call an alpha and beta mentality. We have leaders. And with leadership, I'm a proponent for natural leadership. People that just naturally find themselves in those positions and know what to do and how to move individuals into positive directions. That being said, there are people who are told or just believe themselves to be leaders, and then everything gets clusterfucked. Things go bad, things go wrong, because people who think that they're leaders might not be leaders, might not have the whole group's best interest in mind. That's the thing about natural leadership. It's an evolution of consciousness. People just fall into position and they just know what to do because of where they are as conscious beings. In this second dimension of consciousness, if things get written poorly, and as we just spoke about infancy with first dimensional consciousness, in childhood, second dimensional consciousness comes in. Again, value systems come in. What do we want? What is better? And we create systems of understanding reality that way. Some people have more, some people have less. What does that mean to me as an individual? And where do I fit in to that scale? Real imbalances could show up with people who I want to say pack rats. I'm a pack rat. I have stuff. I have useful stuff, but I have stuff. And there are people who. So I was an apartment manager for a while, and it was bug spray day, and I had to walk the technician to each room, and we were at a floor, and I unlocked the door, and he just looked at me. He's like, "Have you ever been in here before?" I'm like, "No, I haven't." And he's like, "Okay, you're going to be surprised." Okay. Open up the door. I stood there in the doorway as he sprayed, and the tenant's space was full of boxes. And I mean full of boxes. And there was no intent to move. The spray guy, the bug spray guy, said that this is how she was. It was a 4-story building, and so 4 months goes by and you cycle through. And so 4 months ago it had been the same, and apparently he'd been working there a while. And it was a shock. I'm talking like boxes and boxes and boxes, to the point of they had pathways. A path to the bedroom, a path to the bathroom, a path into the living room and through to the kitchen, and the rest was boxes. There was no couch, no furniture that I could see from the doorway. As I didn't enter the apartment, I could just see boxes upon boxes upon boxes, piled a good 4 feet high. And this was her presentation of something. Apparently, I found out this later, she was a collector of things. She would watch those shows on TV, and she would buy stuff. And so all these boxes were things that she possessed. It was her value. She valued something so much, but the thing that she did, it interfered with her ability to negotiate reality. I don't know. Now, this is my take on reality. The space you live in is an external example of your mind, good or bad. As I look around, I think I do okay, but I know I need some tweaks. But the things around us are the things that we value, and it's who that we think that we are. And we can change these. We can make life better for ourselves or worse for ourselves. Talking about worse, another aspect of this could be gluttony. Obviously, being a pack rat is being a glutton. But a food glutton is going to take on weight to the point where they're going to have some physical constraints within the gravity, which is a constraint of reality. And so creating an imbalance with physical reality, again, is something that we can renegotiate. We can change, generally speaking, with most cases, unless there's like some adrenal problem. A person is creating their own physical distress, and that's going to interfere with how they interact with reality. These imbalances, again, what we see as good or bad, we create values in things. This is a very physical domain, but it is also where we are housing our emotions, and we're creating our understanding and our emotional sensations. We are shaping or have shaped our emotional interaction, our emotional intelligence. An imbalance in this could be how, if we see in our day, and we walk away from a day and we say everybody's angry, that's it's a sign of an imbalance, due to the fact that we can say everybody. There is no such thing as everybody. There are individuals, and if we are experiencing lots of upset people, that's usually what we call a projection. And another way to see a projection is, imagine the external is streaming in without filtration until it hits your awareness. And your awareness is where the filtration occurs. We've created these filters, good or bad, right or wrong, and the external stream of consciousness, stream of experience, all that information is coming in, and when it hits our filter, that's how we see the world. That's our experience of it. And we can check in with ourselves to see how we're doing, where we're at. And we're still primitive in second dimensional consciousness, except instead of just moving forward and backward, towards safety and away from unsafety or danger. Imagine a spiral. Now ask yourself, is my spiral getting larger? Or is my spiral getting smaller? Make it even more simple. Imagine a circle. Is my circle getting larger or is my circle getting smaller? And is this the circle of experience? Is it your circle of friends? Is it your circle of knowledge? What is that circle? A healthy, developing, in balance, in flow, second dimensional consciousness is going to be more adaptive. And so that circle of experience, that circle of knowledge should be growing. Talking about being a pack rat, most of the things that I have a function. I don't just have things. Everything has something. For instance, up on the shelf is soap making equipment. I've got molds. And in the kitchen there's oils. That's stuff. It seems like unnecessary stuff because you can go to the store and buy soap. But what's in that soap at the store? What is my value? How am I valuing reality? I'm valuing reality in this way. The product at the store was shipped from far away, was made by someone else with things that I don't understand and I don't know. A lot of times in laboratories and manufacturing plants that are probably unsafe to be in. It's not everything. There are natural alternatives. But the most natural alternative and the most fun is to make it yourself. Because you can take some time, learn how to do something, learn a new skill, learn about saponification, learn how much oil to mix, which oils to mix, why, how much lye to add, what temperatures to mix them at, what smells you can add, what smells don't add, what materials you can add to make different types of soap. And then you end up with a lot of soap. And now you have something that you can gift. You have something that you can use. That's my value. I value that experience. And so my pack rattedness is built upon a value system. I have things that create a product of value to me. Lots of my space is like that. Got a space in my kitchen for houseplants because I value plants, because of what they offer me in return for an output. I give them the conditions, I give them fertilizer, and I have a space to work with them because I have an abundance of plants until they keep dying. And again, that's a value system that I have created. That's my reality. If I find myself being burdened by this experience, by these collections, then I need to change my value system and make those adjustments. Things like plants are easy. If you have too many plants you take care of, they're probably going to die. You end up with less plants until the point where you find that symbiotic relationship. Now, if you want to travel, then house plants are probably not for you, because if you just want to be away from your home most of the time, then that's this relationship of your value system. You value an external experience differently than someone else that has a different way of looking at reality. Again, filters. We all have them. They're normal. They're natural. We don't break down we don't get rid of filters. We need filters. We just need to realize what our filters are, and we need to realize what filters we can add to make our experience better. And that's much later in our dialogue, because that's sixth dimensional consciousness, when we realize that we can metaprogram, we can add to our experience in ways that we don't yet. And in the second dimension of consciousness, again, it's pre-linguistic. Third dimension is horizontal. It's where we name all of the things. Before that, we have this hierarchy, this value system in our experience, and we show it through our emotions. We show it through our social interactions, how and what and who we value, and we negotiate terms with reality. And again, is our circle getting bigger, or is our circle getting smaller? What is our spiral looking like? We ask ourselves this question, and we realize what our second dimensional awareness is doing to us. Is our flow with reality in flow with reality, or are we in balance? If we are imbalanced, then obviously we're not going to have good social interactions. We're not going to be very healthy. We're not going to have a healthy lifestyle. That's just what happens. And we can make these changes. But we make these changes in our pictures. We make these changes in our environment. Again, it's not talk time yet. That's the next dimension up. We start learning about language and what language has done to us to change our mind and add more filters. We're going to talk about that next. For now, second dimension consciousness, hierarchy. Yeah, figure out where you're at and make adjustments so that you can make any corrections to make sure that you are flowing in the experience of reality in a much more healthy way. All right, we'll talk to you next time, and thanks for watching.